So where do you see all of that happening and when?
Well, thank you very much, Charles, for asking me this very, very compelling and very intriguing questions, because this is really something, obviously, which is unprecedented. So there are no data, we're talking about estimation, we are talking about opinions, we are talking about expectation. And so I'm giving my personal view of this matter. Of course, I'm not a philosopher, I'm not either a scientist, I'm just a researcher of decentralized network and a technologist of decentralized network. So excuse me if what I'm saying might be incorrect or not fully accurate. But the way I see UBI in the future is that they will become a complementary part of our economies. So obviously we still have the fiat systems with the euros, with the US dollars, but we will have a part of the economy running on UBI, so on those monetary systems which are created by distributing a new cryptocurrencies. And these new cryptocurrencies will be very part of our life, of our economy, because they, unlike what has happened so far with the current systems, they fail to achieve a significant adoption on a global scale. For many, many reasons, we don't need to waste time on that. But the reality is simply that Bitcoin, after 14 years, has covered only 0.1, 0.2 of the world population. That's not a great result. And so that's why we see something unprecedented. We're going to see the WorldCoin, maybe we're going to see the human income coin, or maybe we're going to see other type of monetary system, which will spread out very, very quickly because it's free. It's a free lottery. If you don't believe in them, at least it's a free lottery. You have nothing to lose by scanning your iris or by doing the face recognition with the human income coin. It's very practical. You can do it anytime. It's free for everybody. If it goes through, you get money. If it doesn't, you have lost nothing. It's not that you are disclosing your biometric data. It's not that you are offended in your privacy, you're damaging your privacy. It's nothing of the kind. This system are actually very, very private. So this is to say they will have an unprecedented diffusion and spread out. What is the outlook, in my opinion? Well, in my opinion, the WorldCoin will launch this summer and will be able to enroll hundreds of millions of users in a matter of few months. So we're going to see that it will depend very much on the level of censorship they will be subjected to. So we will see exactly which countries they will be able to operate in and how that will develop. I think their strategy is because they are liable to censorship. They are liable to censorship because they are running the orb. So the orb as a physical requires a physical location, and that physical location is something easy to censor. So it's going to be interesting to see what countries they will be allowed to operate in, which country they will choose as the first start. And I believe their strategy is going to be, let's put together as quick as possible 100, 200, 300 million users. Let's create a massive awareness on a global scale of this coin. And that will also mean that the coin will be able to gain a lot of traction and a lot of value in a quite incredible short amount of time, meaning that probably we will see an UBI in the region of $20, $30 in maybe in 6 months. This could be a bad scenario. This could be a realistic scenario. But that scenario, $20 in a month, is something that changed the world. Because you have to imagine
where that money will come from.
Will come from the simple fact that this coin will be interesting to investors as well, and those will be there will be many institutions who will fancy to buy this coin, and so to support the value of the coin, to create a market cap.
Right.
So the way the market works is this one. If I'm an investor, if I'm an institution, I'm very, very much afraid that my asset might lose value in the future. So I really want that my portfolio is consolidated, is secure in the future. I don't want to have all my portfolio based on US dollars and find myself in 1-2 years that the US dollar for some reason has gone to default. Obviously, I'm making it up, but I think I'm telling you what is the concern of an investment institution. So the concern is I need to have a portfolio which is not exposed to massive loss of value. So it would be really silly to have a portfolio in Argentinian entirely on Argentinian pesos. It would be ridiculously, obviously, massive risk, right? So the way this institution operates is that they buy a little bit of this fund, a little bit of this currency, a little bit of that cryptocurrency, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. And when they see an asset like the WorldCoin, it is absolutely too tempting not to say we need to have a little bit of allocation on that asset. And that
So it
little
could
bit
be
of
the next
allocation,
Bitcoin, kind of. That's how.
absolutely, absolutely, it will be the next Bitcoin. It will be.
Okay.
I mean, just
It's
think of
just
this
that
one.
the purpose is so different. If different, if they're focused on UBI, which is alleviating kind of poverty, but at the same time, elitists will invest into this for profit. Isn't this like increasing the wealth gap and coming back to the same thing? Because rich people will keep on getting richer of that. I mean, people will obtain $20 20 WorldCoin, $20 worth of WorldCoin per month, right? Which they can transfer in whatever currency they want. So they will also be getting richer on that basis. But don't you think this would still like increase the wealth gap and hence bring these people back in poverty? Which is the question here is like, is it, oh, he's richer than me, so like that makes me poor? Or are we arguing here that, oh, they will just have money to eat and to drink water?
Very, 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 very interesting question. So in my simple answer is no. No, there is not such a concern that an UBI might increase financial inequality worldwide. And why? What is the reason? Simply because the value has to be created. The value is created from institution buying in and pushing the price higher. But the coin is not distributed only once in the life. That would be a little bit, your concern would be much more credible and much more a concern, of course, if it was distributed only once, but it's distributed on regular basis, once a day, once a month, or whatever, or once a minute, whatever it is. So that means basically that everyone keep receiving this coin. So even if you sell them and you sell them to an institution, you make some money at that time, but it's not that you lost all the wealth you're gonna receive in the future. So you will still receive. And so there is this starting distribution. Then having said that, of course, an UBI, such a type of UBIs, they do not delete, they do not remove the full financial inequality. They just alleviate the differences just a little bit. It helps a little bit, but obviously the richer will remain richer.
Right. And the censorship part, like, why would governments try to censor it?
Well, the governments, many governments, of course, I expect the WorldCoin not to be able to have any type of operation in any country run by an authoritarian regime. So that include, absolutely. Well, because it's a threat to their financial system.
Or to their power, right? Like it
yes,
because
of
it's
course.
like, oh, that they will be saving my population, not myself. I'm not the hero anymore. And people will try to revolt.
But not only that. I mean, let's remember that a network made of individuals can very easily turn into a DAO system, as we spoke a little bit last time. So a DAO system is a form of direct democracy, of direct expression of opinions. So that is absolutely something that an authoritarian regime despises and try to avoid at all costs. So this system, obviously, they will never be part of an authoritarian regime. And this is the main problem of the WorldCoin. The main problem is that and because in this world, unfortunately, there are many, many countries which are run by dictatorship. That includes Russia, that includes China, but that includes also Vietnam, Cuba, Venezuela. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And plus, there are other countries that they are not labeled as a dictatorship, but they are still, not really what we would call a democratic society. Even democratic society are not that democratic as we think. So in other words, we will see there are a bunch of countries which for sure they will not allow the WorldCoin, and a few other countries which is a kind of question mark. What are going to do? What is going to be the response? Because, for example, if you check the website of the WorldCoin, worldcoin.org, then you will see they post a map about their operations, and you will see that US, Canada, and many other countries that you would not expect are left blank, meaning they are not announced any operation in those countries. And they mark as black as countries where they're planning to have operations. Some countries that actually is not so sure. So this is to say, it's big question mark. They have massive response from the public, from the individuals, but they have real concern when it comes to censorship. And that is why the human income coin makes so much sense, because we are not exposed to censorship. Our technology is run online. Our technology is fully decentralized. We, as foundation, we have no involvement, we have no participation, we don't partake in the network. We have no keys of the network to the network. So that means this technology is available to everybody around the world. As long as you have a device and as long as you have an internet connection, you can connect and enroll in the system and receive the coins straight away. So this is the main difference between the WorldCoin and the human income coin.
The system is pretty cool. Like I think the incentive is for rich people to invest, and that would trickle down into people that have less money. That would increase the allocation by definition. But is the allocation fully derived of the value of the coin? The higher the value of the coin, the higher the allocation is. How much cash reserves will they need, like, and who will decide that, okay, I will convert this WorldCoin into USD?
This is an extremely interesting question, Charles. You touched an issue which is paramount in the design of UBI. So how is the allocation in time-wise? How is going to work? So I cannot actually answer for the WorldCoin. I don't know exactly precisely their plans for the allocation of the coin, but I can answer in regard to the human income coin. So what we are doing is we are first of all, we decided we believe that the best choice is to have a capped supply, meaning that the coin has no inflation in the future. It's just the supply is going to be capped. And then we want to have this supply a function of the adoption. So we don't want to give a bunch of coins initially. We need to give more coins initially to create FOMO, to create interest in participation, offsetting the initial low value. So we need to distribute more coin, but we don't want to run out of coin very quickly, because then if the rest of the global population arrive, they will find for themselves less coin. So then we will fail the goal of a fair distribution. So it's a little bit of a balance between giving incentive to early adopters, to those who enroll at the very early stages, and leaving a big amount of coin for the ones who come later. We designed the system in a way that the system will run out of coin in about 12 years. I think this is pretty much fair, but that amount of time is very much a function of the number of users, of participants. If there are no participants, the system distributes less coins. So those 12 years become maybe 20, 30, because we need to take provision for those coming later. But I mean, expecting that with the general expectation that to have a 5, 6 years, 7 years of global adoption time, then we want to have an additional 5, 6 years of distribution for everybody. So that is, I think, is a nice compromise between encouraging early participants, but also protecting the later ones.
Right. Well, I think it's the first mass scale project that will give people money for free. It's like just sign up here and you will get like free money basically. So certainly an interesting experiment. I cannot wait to see like the behavior
Allow me,
economics
Charles,
yeah.
allow me to say a comment here, because this is the general perception of everyone: free money for everybody, and that sounds like a little bit not
Utopist.
utopias, right? So it sounds like printing money from thin air. It sounds
It sounds
unsound.
like a scam, but we
It
know it's
sounds like a
not a
scam.
scam. Yeah.
It sounds like a scam, but in fact, it's not exactly like this. So when you participate in the proof of identity human income coin, you become a system validator. So the way the system works, because there is no central authorities, all the participants, they partake in the operation of the system. So it's like you are the banking system of yourself, and that contribution that you have in terms of computational power, because you would probably install the application in your phone, that is a little contribution, but that little contribution, it's a lot for us. And when you think that this monetary system, because it's run by individuals, basically it's a monetary system which has no bank to pay, then you will see that why you are rewarded for your contribution. So the money that you receive, in fact, they are not free money. They are the compensation for your contribution to the network. You are actually doing a little job, even if this job, there is no fatigue, no effort in this job. But the fact that you have proved yourself to be a unique human, that is a great value for the community that we are building. And that's why you receive a UBI.
Okay, which is interesting. Well, I think it's still gonna be an interesting experiment. My next question is like, who will compete against that? Because I love that it includes the capitalist nature of humans, and it encompasses or evolutionary behaviors, which is kind of a line. It's not just a here's free money kind of. So who will compete against that, and what does a world of competing UBI coins look like?
Another very, very interesting question, Charles. So I think competition will be determined essentially by technology. So if you have an alternative technology, then you might want to compete against the WorldCoin. But if you don't, then it's a little bit, in my opinion, it's a little bit silly to do so, because you won't be able to leapfrog their initial advantage. The WorldCoin has been founded with 125 million, so it's not little money. So if you want to compete against them, you need to have a compelling reason. You need
So
to
VCs
be
invested in WorldCoin?
The VC investors of the WorldCoins are Andreessen Horowitz, Pantera Capitals, all the major VC in Silicon Valley. The list is very long. I think it includes everyone. Every big
Khosla Venture.
Yeah. Coastal Venture, many of them. I think nobody has refused to give. I think they could have even more if they wanted. They said simply 125 is enough. So So for them, is founding is not a problem, of course. And so if you want to compete against them, you have to leapfrog them in terms of times, in terms of founding. It's big investment, and why would you do that? I mean, it doesn't make sense unless you can do things better than them. And
Yeah.
and remember what we said before, they have tied down to their physical scanner. So that you need to propose a solution which is better, which solves this problem. And that is what we are doing. We propose a solution which has other downsides, of course, but it solves the problem with the high exposure to censorship.
Such a
Because it's
fascinating
accessible to.
project like 125 million. I think they'll invest it mostly in the employees, because I see they have a huge team. Was
Yes,
also
yeah.
wondering, like, when they launch, will they raise another $500 million fund to actually convert USD? And well, I'm pretty sure they'll have partnerships in the bank, but will they use that money to actually pay UBI would be another interesting question to ask later on. Yeah, such a full and complete project. It's just fascinating to see Sam Altman and all of his projects and slash products. One question for you. When do you think, one last question that is, because we will have to go. When would be the launch date of that project? What price do you expect the coin to have? Let's say that we invest at a hypothetical $1 value when they launch, let's say in 6 months from now. How much would that be in a year from now? Would we be talking about $10, so 10x return? Would we be talking about Bitcoin-ish price, 30K or something like that? What do you think the price will be?
I think, well, according to what they are stating at the moment, they're saying they will be launching in Q2, Q3. I think it's more Q3 than Q2
Yeah, we're
this year.
currently Q2.
Yeah, so we're already in Q2, and yes, despite the fact that they keep the FOMO pretty high, but I don't see great moves happening at the moment. So I think it's going to be more the Q3, maybe the last part of the Q3. But they will launch this year. They will launch this year, and so what is going to be? Well, what is going to be? I believe because there is so high expectation, you're not going to get this WorldCoin like it was with Bitcoin, which started from 1 cent, right? No, it's not going to start from that only. So it's going to start already, and they will probably support the initial price. So they're not letting you buy at the price of nothing so that you can become a millionaire just because you were the first one able to click buy the coin at the exchanges. So they will start supporting, they will put in the order book already the selling part quite priced, and it's not going to take long for me, in my opinion, it's not going to take long for the WorldCoin to surpass cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. I mean, I'm sure that the Bitcoin's lover will be horrified to hear what I'm saying, but it's very simple. It's very simple. The WorldCoin will have hundreds of millions of users very quickly. The WorldCoin has all the credential. There is no failure ahead. There might be a great success, or there might be a less amount of a success, but there is no doubt that they will succeed in their goals. So because their technology is so consolidated, is so solid, then it's also obvious that the project will be successful, and therefore let's put some numbers here. So I think the goal of the WorldCoin is the same goal of the human income coin. We're looking at becoming a monetary system in the region of 50 trillion, which is a little bit more than the capitalization of the US dollars on a global scale. So that will probably mean that we will account, I mean, I'm talking in 10 years time, of course, we will account for maybe 10-20% of the global economy. This system will account for 10-20% of the global economy, of the global value of the currency, right? Which is a little bit in the region of the US dollars.
That's huge.
Currency. That's huge.
Well,
So
that is just humongous.
that is humongous, and it's not going to happen on day one. But on day one, I'm expecting them to reach a market cap, at least in the region of. I'm not saying day one, but let's say month one. In month one, I wouldn't be surprised if they reach a
10 billion.
capitalization of 100 billions or 200 billions. So something which is starting to be very, very close to Bitcoin. So it's not, yeah. And they will reach that in very, very quickly, basically.
Well, that's just crazy. And all these VCs, I'm guessing, Andresine Orez, they're known to make deals that, okay, they will get like, I don't know, 5% of that market cap or 1%.
We don't know. We don't know precisely.
Which is a huge payday.
Which is a huge payday. But so another problem with the WorldCoin, we need to say this one. Another problem with the WorldCoin is that there is no accountability. There is no transparency of the data. So all the data are actually stored and managed by the WorldCoin Foundation. So when they say we have 1 billion users, it's just they to say that. There is no way that you can verify that data because you don't know who has done the scanning of the iris and who didn't. So,
right.
So this is another problem with their design, which we don't have. The human income coin is designed in the way that there is a lot of verification of data. You can actually verify data.
Yeah, let's keep it to this for today, Andrea.
Yeah,
have to go. Where can people find out more about you?
Well, have a look. We have two websites. One is proofofidentity.com. In between, there is a dash, so it will be proof-of-identity.com. And another one is humanincome.org. One is describing the technology, and another one is the website where you can enroll in our blockchain. You can go through the biometric identification and open up your Minting wallet and start receiving your human income coin for free.